Welcome to the 47th episode of the Daft Previews podcast. My name is Dan, and I'm joined by Luke. Luke, what's happening, dog? How's State of Origin for you, mate?
State of Origin. How long it's been? Jeez. It was a rough night. Got the first, so thank you, Jen. But wasn't the best night for a New South Wales supporter, but it was still a good game. I thought Queensland were awesome, so yeah.
They were.
How are you?
Fucking turned it up. Didn't get my bets right because my man Selwyn didn't get over, but I did like the way that Queensland played. The future is bright. And most importantly, my boys from Brisbane, they owned it. They were fucking excellent. Every single one of them. If like Payne Haas is your worst Brisbane player in that State of Origin game, you're laughing.
True.
So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm also pretty happy with the footy that was on the weekend. Scooped up a little bit of profit. But did you know, up until that Parramatta game, every favourite won and also covered the line?
Which is basically it's pretty boring, but we think the favourites.
Yeah. And then Para shit the bed. Para fans are crying all across the state this morning. Just wonderful scenes, really. Just another bed shit from them. They had the Tigers bed shit, now the Dogs bed shit. But them being shit actually factors into one of my best bets for this week. But before we get into those, let's plug this shit up. Firstly, if you're listening to this and you haven't joined, you need to join the Discord server that we have. It's absolutely free. We've got expert tippers across a whole range of sports. I personally pulled in $1,700 profit last week. That's the amount that I withdrew. I did give a little bit of it back, but $1,700 straight back into the account is always a good thing. I've been cleaning up on the NRL lately. I do have a Discord exclusive multi. So if everyone who's in the group knows that I hit very well on $2 same game multis, I've gone ahead and put one through the all 8 games for this round. Odds on that one is only $321. So that's a Discord exclusive. Join the Discord. The link is in the description, whether you listen to this on your favorite podcast app or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can find that link there. Also, follow us on Dabble, Facebook, and Instagram. As I promised last week, all my or percentage of all my profits will be going to a wonderful donation. One I've been riding the wave in lately is I wear on my head today. So this is the Mark Hughes Foundation. It's all about brain cancer. It is the leading cause of death. Children, people under 40. It's destroying people's lives and little is known about it. That's why we need your help to donate to the Mark Hughes Foundation. Every dollar helps in the fight against brain cancer. Your donation will go towards vital research to improve patient treatments and hopefully one day we find a fucking cure. So donate to the Mark Hughes Foundation. I think I donated like $150. I also purchased a few beanies as well. So all gone to a great cause. Now, Luke, let's kick this off with your best bets. Nice and early. Then we'll preview the shit out of this round. What do you got for us, big dog?
All right, so I've got a couple overs and a couple teams behind. So we'll go to the first game that I have. Oh, geez, I'm betting on the late games. I've just noticed. So Manly versus the Cowboys on Friday night. I've gone under 42.5 points. I think the Cowboys are the second best defensive team in the comp. I still think Manly aren't as dynamic without Travojevic. So I think it's going to be a very close game and like the unders there. Then I've gone to the Parramatta. I've got Para minus 1.5. The Raiders minus 10.5 Knights. And to wrap it all up, Tigers game, which all of a sudden has generated a lot of interest. I have gone the overs, over 40.5. I think those teams are just going to throw the ball around, not give a fuck. So all up there, $13 and in a multi-power play, it's about $13.50.
Nice. I like it. We got some handicap action. For my best bets this week, I've got 5 of them. Not choosing any lines on this one because one thing I really like at the moment is just banging on the points. It forms a lot of my multis, but I've got the juiciest ones for you. So check this out. These 5 bets equate to a $34 odds when you put them all together because I have moved some of them and I moved the line upwards to create some more juice. First one is the Cronulla Sharks to score over 29.5 points. I know the Titans don't like to tackle, and Cronulla's attack is singing when it's good. Panthers over 33.5 points against the Warriors. The Warriors have thrown it in. I've got the Paramedic Eels over 21.5 points, looking at a bounce back against the Roosters. I've got the Knights as underdogs over 14.5 points against the Raiders. And I've got the Bulldogs over 21.5 points. Up against your Tigers. $34 for those ones. I did hit very similar ones. It was only on Saturday, but I picked the 3 favorites, but I moved their lines up to about $2.20 each, and they all banged brilliantly. So I thought, what if I just pick my favorite legs from the whole round and whack them all together? So I'll talk a little bit more once we get to each game as to why I think there's going to be some points on hand. But yeah, that's what I'm backing. I think I've only got $50 on that one, but if she comes off, woo-hoo.
Only 50.
You're
killing it.
When you're playing with profit, it's only $50. What's a couple units for you, boy?
It's true. It's true.
Murder. But no, it's looking pretty juicy. As mentioned, I do have a Discord exclusive multi, so check out the Discord. You're gonna absolutely fucking love it. Everything's going off at the moment, but
590 members.
Yes.
We're 10 members away from the big 600.
10 short, 600. Hopefully, you've got some big
Exactly.
news on some potential things, some Daft Previews items on the way. Luke?
Yes, correct. Well, as you guys can internet, so I have the ability to function and things out. So some exciting things
Yes,
coming
you
up.
do.
My neighbour's internet, in case they're listening live, leeching off them. That's work. This is work.
Yeah, you're working hard, I tell you. Let's get into this. I don't want to spend too much time banging around. First game of the round. We see the St. George Illawarra Dragons versus the South Sydney Rabbitohs. The Rabbits are $1.45 favourites. Dragons at $2.75. The line is 5.5 points. That's a good looking line there if you're backing a favourite. Total match points are at 43.5 points. Luke, what are you thinking? Where does this one go?
This is a game where it depends which. The Dragons they were awful last week, but I think that was down to one player, and that was Zachary Lomax. He was so bad, but he can't do that 2 weeks in a row, surely, right? He can't throw a dump flick past the 10 meters out. He can't throw past into the crowd and blame the opposition. But they lost to the Cowboys, and at the moment, apart from Penrith and Melbourne, you could even take Melbourne out. It's probably the Cowboys are the next best team in the comp, and Broncos, right? You put them like Brisbane 7 in a row, is it? 7, and then the Cowboys, how they've flogged. The only game they've dropped against Penrith. So like losing to the Cowboys isn't much of a like a form dip, I'd say. The problem with the Dragons should say, is they are conceding quite a fair few points lately. Even the Dogs scored 24 against them. The Warriors 18. So defensively, it's a bit of a concern, and the Titans obviously put 20 on them. So if I'm going to take a bet in this game, I'd take the overs, just because I think the Dragons just don't have any goal line defense, and Souths, they can score when they're on, and I think Souths against weaker teams can put the points on. So they put 30 on the Titans, 44 on the Tigers, 32 on the Warriors. So I think they can score points when it's on. So I'll take the over 43.5 or 42.5, depending on which bookie you get.
Yeah. No, I rate that. You'll see over the last few weeks, there's been a lot of overs. So a lot of these lines have moved a lot. I think teams are just starting to click into gear in attack, but I also think some teams are just throwing it in. They're not.
I think the bottom 3-4 teams.
Yeah.
And even the Warriors last week, we'll get onto. They started well, but as soon as these bottom teams concede one try,
Yeah, they're like,
they can't stop the momentum. They just can't be like, yeah, let's just kick off and keep them down in the corner. No, it's like we just can't tackle. So
and they kick it out on the full and shit like that.
yeah, or throw flick passes 10 meters out. Like,
yeah. I think this is a hard game, I guess, to handicap for. Both teams are a bit. How you going? They've had good streaks. They've played well in patches, but overall, I don't think either team's going to make noise come the business end of the season. South's obviously the higher profile team, but they still don't have Latrell.
no.
Cody Walker's still not 100% invested in his play. I think the only thing worth watching is to see how many tries Alex Johnson can get.
Yeah, he's tracking well.
He's tracking well. He's chasing Ken Irvine. He's
Yeah.
chasing him.
Yeah.
And Alex Johnson's only 27, so there's a good chance he can
I
get
can't believe how young he was. They were shopping him around 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They were shopping around a 25-year-old winger. Like,
yeah. Well, he wanted fullback money. He wanted to play fullback, but I don't know why. He's not a fullback at all.
no.
I think Cody Ramsey's a better fullback than Alex Johnson.
Yeah, I agree.
But no, I think just taking Alex Johnson to score 2 tries probably value here. But personally, not touching it, one of my best bets. I think South should win. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dragons got him. I think South beat him 24-12 earlier this year, but Latrell was playing in that game. South were well in control of that, but I think the Dragons had a few injuries for this game. I think Sewell got injured in this game. I know because I picked him to score a try. He scored it, then he went off injured. Something like that. But yeah, not the most exciting game of football that you can put on the Thursday, but these teams are okay. They're not the bludgers, but
I think, though, if you go back and look at how many rounds has been, like, what are around 13, 15, 14 rounds. You go look at the 14 Thursday night games this year. Even when you put the games have been shit. Even when you put good teams on, I don't know what it is, but my theory last week was players who change pronunciations and names don't play well. What's happened since Junior Bolo? Look at those 2 games. Terrible. New South Wales did nothing. Fucking Paris, they did nothing. And my theory is good. My next theory is Thursday night football is just shit football no matter who you put on. I'm happy for someone to prove me wrong in the comments and quote me from a game this year on a Thursday night was an absolute banger. But from memory, they've been all shit. Even the first game of the season was Penrith Manly, which I was at, and everyone was pumped up about it. It was boring. It was 28-6. Like, it was so one way.
a lot of the Broncos games have been Thursday. I think 4 of them have been on Thursday.
Yeah. Remember the Titans-Tigers on Thursday, which was literally one try until the last kick of the game and 8-6? Fuck, that was terrible to watch.
I know. I've got a thing to say about Monday games as well. Fuck, they suck. They're hard to
Yeah, I'm not a fan of them either. I think I even choose like stack the Saturday and do the 4 games.
Yeah.
You could get away with a Queensland game at like 9:30.
Yeah, I'm down for it. Give me because I'm basically getting 2 slutty Saturdays. If I can get 3 games each day, woo!
Yeah,
your boys
me. Exactly.
What else? We got a comment from Young Honcho. Says Johnson is a cherry picker. Other than speed and finishing, he doesn't offer anything else to this South team. What do you think, Luke?
I agree. If you take those 2 things out, he doesn't. But I'll tell you what, a lot of teams that take someone who can just score tries. You saw Mitch Moses yesterday. He can't score. He bombed a try. So.
Oh fuck!
He does. Yeah, I think because the wingers have changed so much. Like he's only 27, but the wingers now that are 22, 23 are all wingers that can bring the ball out and carry yards. And it kind of burnt Josh Addo-Carr. But like, look what he did yesterday. Like he's basically that same winger. He's not the winger you rely on bringing the ball out, making meters. So he's a poor man's Josh Addo-Carr. I agree. He's one of South's best.
Speaking of wingers, we might not spend that much time talking about wingers. How fucking mad was Dallin's put down?
That was his debut game. He did it wasn't as spectacular, but it was similar. Diving in the corner. It was a wet day at Penrith, but he's very good at finishing tries. And yeah, it's kind of like if he didn't go to the Warriors, but then he went to the Dogs as well. And it's another byproduct of going to a shit team as an outside back. If you go to a crap team, you're just going to struggle. Like there's no potential if you're a winger. Like Josh Addo-Carr has to literally carry and score to to stay relevant. He still got dropped for Origin. So
I think he's scoring like 40-something% of their tries this year.
yeah,
It's pretty crazy. But Dallon's put down, fucking beautiful. Ronaldo's eyes were closed. He was reaching out, touching nothing.
Yeah. But you, as an opposition winger, you'd be like, can't do much about that. Like you just accept that, like fuck. And it's like any sport, good. Like if in basketball or something, if you know you get dunked on or something, you're like, well, not much you could do.
That was an excellent try. But anyway, enough talk about wingers. Let's talk about some great defensive teams. So let's talk about one of them. We got the Cowboys versus the Manly Seagulls. Cowboys at $1.54. Manly at $2.50. The line is -4.5. Total points are 42.5 points. Manly up there. This is at home for Manly, playing without Turbo. They do have a wonderful record without him.
All of a sudden.
Cowboys are the favourites. I guess that's fair enough, seeing that they're third. 10 wins and only 4 losses on the year with a plus-minus of 179. So Todd Payton, Coach of the Year candidate right here. What are your thoughts on this one? I can't wait for this game. I think it's going to be really good.
At this stage, he's Coach of the Year for me because Ivan Cleary's been out for half the games himself, so you can't fucking credit him for being Coach of the Year. Serrato's probably a better chance. I think this is a cracking game. This is probably the game I'm looking most forward to. It's a shame it's the early one on the Friday, so I'll probably have half of it in the car on the radio. But I think I like it. I'm going to put my hand on a minute again. I'm enjoying watching the Cowboys and the Broncos play this year. The two Queensland teams, I'm actually enjoying the football they're playing. And they're two different styles of football. You know, the Broncos are throwing the ball around, ready to go scoring points, whereas the Cowboys are just belting teams through the middle, like relentlessly bashing them through the middle.
Doing it the old-fashioned way. They're rolling their sleeves up.
Yeah, and just digging in and having a crack. So I've gone the unders, as I said earlier in this game. I just think Manly are going to be those flat. Manly is still a flat track bully, in my opinion. They don't.
Did say that again?
Probably loves it.
I think he said that again recently.
Yeah. The only difference I find from this year to last year, apart from obviously the two Queensland teams improving, is Roosters, Para, and Manly and South have dropped, and they were the teams that could thrash everyone underneath them, but then struggle against Penrith and Melbourne. But they've dropped now to a point where they're not where Cowboys are better than them. So I think they'll struggle against the Cowboys, score points. Too much reliability on Mr. Olakawatu, Mr. Tonga himself. And yeah, I rate this Cowboys team. I just think the unders is good. So
yeah, I'd even take the Cowboys to cover that 4.5. They're just 4.5's not much. The Cowboys are excellent. Even Val Holmes, his kicking is great this year. It's wild.
He's a big golfer for those who didn't know, and when he's kicking, he thinks he's taking a golf swing, so he's hitting across the ball and stuff. So it's very
Walsh.
That's why, and they swing their arms because it's a golf thing. You're meant to hit through the ball. So, but yeah, he's goal kicking. Chad Townsend's probably playing the best he's played.
Why don't they swing their legs, not their arm?
Hips. Let's get the hips moving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's and then they'll hit through.
Okay, I've only played aqua golf, but I haven't been very good at it. So, I do like the Cowboys. I think Tuolangi's a chance to play Origin now with Coates out.
True.
He's been really good this year. Like I was on him last year just as a try scorer, but this year he pulls through tackles and everything. Young Murray Tuolangi. He's pulling through tackles, regretting letting Dearden go as well. He's playing great. Townsend's doing exactly what he's always done, to be honest.
I don't know. I just think he's taken ownership. I don't know if Cronulla, because he had Moylan, Johnson.
Yeah.
At one, like there was too many Chiefs in that team, and
yeah, that's true.
Since you look back even when they won the comp, Maloney ran the team and he played that, and now he's that senior player in that team, whereas he's always had more experienced players around him, so he's kind of taken that ownership. But
like even
honestly, I like watching them. Yeah,
Tamalolo, he's just doing his work, doing his job.
But his stats, if you look at his stats compared to when he was Dalian Player of the Year, they're not too different. Like it's not. He's averaging like a couple 100 meters a game nearly. Like it's the same thing, but it's because this team are just doing so much more around him. It's not like Tamalolo's got to do everything.
It's the Payne Haas effect as well. We're seeing it with Payne Haas.
Yes,
we don't even need that fucking wanker.
It's Fafita, David Fafita, same thing. A couple of years ago, you needed Fafita to fucking do something. Like Titans did too last year.
But not Taumalolo. Question. We've got one. Another one from Young Honcho.
Honcho,
Thoughts
keep going.
on Olakuatu turning down the Blues to play for Tonga?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not from. No, I've got heritage from those countries because Olakuatu is not from that country either. He was born in Guildford. But I guess you've got a connection to it. Fair enough. I'm actually a dual citizen. I've got an Irish passport. But I would never ever turn down playing for Australia, where I was born and raised. And I've been to Ireland many times. Don't get me wrong. Like I lived in England, so I've still got a very good connection to Ireland. But I don't know. These boys, they're a bit like, I know Jerome Luai has come out and said he'll play for Samoa in the World Cup. Probably knows he won't get Munster's jersey, but
Of course.
it's I don't know. I think don't turn around and then next year want to play for New South Wales if they haven't got a test match on. But Tonga are beating Australia and New Zealand. They should be a T1 nation in my eyes anyway.
Yeah, that's true. On talent, they are. But
Yeah,
I don't know what fits the criteria for Tier 1. I know they get paid more, but...
Yeah, make them a T1 nation. That's what I think.
I think Tonga's a pretty good side, but I think Olakuatu is what New South Wales needs, though. They got a gap, especially on the right edge, and they need a game breaker. They need some Olakuatu, mate, straight out of Guildford. 2 on 6-1, baby. 2 on 6-1. I went to school in Guildford, so I know that. But yeah, who do you think plays second row for the Blues? Tarek Sims does he stay there? What do you think happens to that?
Nah, I think he's done. I don't think they'll change too much, but I think he's gone. And he was starting, but I think they'll start Murray. And God, names are off my head. Who's the other side?
Like swapped Cam Murray out late. He should.
Yeah,
start.
Cam Murray went to the bench with Liam. I think Liam Martin will start, but Liam Martin on the weekend ran the ball more, but he didn't run the ball much. Yeah, I think Campbell Gillard could be gone too.
Yeah. Madison, he's probably gone. I think that was too fast for him.
I think I just think they need aggressive forwards.
I think they need Angus Crichton. He's never let the Blues down. He's always played good.
I think they could even go Jake Travojevic at prop. Like,
no meters with Jakey though.
Yeah, but he just defends and tackles, and he can tackle. He can't run, but mate, we had fucking huge forwards. They made no meters the other night. Like Junior Paulo, Cam Gillard made no impact. No, Payne Haas just had a big workload. So
yeah,
but I don't think it'll change too much. I don't think it's going to change as much as people think. I
think Bolo needs to start.
I think Junior Paulo needs to start, and Bolo needs to get dropped, and then you get the Junior Paulo back. The one who fought Paul Gallen, and they announced it as Junior Paulo and a ring announcer, and they called him out as that. Did he not tell them at that point? Introduce me. He had a chance.
He did have his chance, but I think
it's a pain point for me if you haven't picked it up. It is a pain point.
Anyway, so you're picking the unders. I reckon Cowboys cover the line. I think it's going to be a great game of footy, some high quality footy. I like seeing Schuster play. Foran's playing really good. Probably the last season he's ever going to be respectable because he's going to Gold Coast next year. Cherry's doing what he does. I think this Cooler for Manly, he's pretty good.
He's quick.
He's fucking brilliant, that guy. And the Cowboys players, a lot of them are playing out of their skin. But let's get into the main event of the round, eh? Friday evening, 7:55. It's the Melbourne Storm versus the Brisbane Broncos at AAMI Park. Melbourne at $1.15. The Broncos at $5.50. The line is at 17.5 with total points over 42.5. So Broncos without Reynolds. Shit. What a disrespectful line.
But you know why it's like that, though? I know it's Melbourne, but named a jumper 21, Mr. Ryan Pappenhausen.
Yeah, Paps.
So if he starts, that Melbourne team who were blowing Tingle the Park could be back. So
yeah, and he's not coming back from a concussion this time, so he shouldn't be scared of contact.
No, it's his hand. As soon as he knows he can run, he's good.
Yeah, fuck. It's gonna be a rough night. So it was actually difficult when I was trying to put together this $2 multi because I never tip against my boys. I find a way to pick a bet where I can cheer them on. Melbourne will make it challenging for me this round, but I'm pretty keen for it. I think it's the ultimate test without Reynolds, and the other games without Reynolds have still been pretty close anyway, odds wise. I think we always stood a good chance, but this one, Melbourne beat the Roosters with most of their backline out. Forward pack's still there, but it's not the same formidable forward pack they've always had. They're very reliant on their 6 and 7, absolutely slaying. So, but like you said, Paps me if he's back, it's going to be a tough one because we have been victims of being slow around the ruck. We've got some heavy forwards, some big boys. But speaking of big boys, I have a confession to make. Well, it's more of an apology to sweet Patrick Carrigan. Remember when the rumors were out that he was going to sign with the Dolphins, and on this podcast I was like, "Fuck him, he can go. He doesn't do anything anyway." Man, I was wrong. He's so good.
Yeah, he's put his hand up as one of those another great number 13 in the comp.
Yeah, he is. I'll tell you the only thing that's changed since then. It's just the post-contact meters. He's pulling through tackles now, and he actually stopped people. Whereas before, he was similar with Payne Haas without making post-contact meters. He'd catch people and let them walk another 5 meters. Or if he got tackled, he'd have the slowest play of the ball in the world because he never went forward. Whereas that's changed. Like his legs are pumping all the time. They had that video out on him this week, I think on the Benji show on Fox Sports. They had him mic'd up. Fucking legend. Future captain of the club. He should be earning what Payne's on. Thank God he signed for unders. But what are your thoughts on this one?
Lucky you're not doing the books. Jesus. Payne's overpaid. You want to put him on 800, 900 a year? Fuck, doesn't leave him much after Reynolds. The line for the 17.5, you probably could get like $1.80, pick your own line if you can find it. Reason being, I know Melbourne were missing players last week, but the Roosters literally had both halves off the field at one point. Kiri pretty much off for half the game. And they still kept it within 8 points. Week prior, Melbourne beat Manly by 20. So at Melbourne, by the way. So do you think...
Well, I think we can take that Manly team. Yeah.
You think you can beat that Manly team by 2 points? I think you can. So I think yes, no Reynolds. That is going to be the big one. And really, I don't think Reynolds has missed a tough game yet, even because he played against Penrith earlier in the year. So this is where, your kicking game is probably more important. So that's my only question mark. But I think the 17.5 is a good start because Melbourne haven't been the same team. They haven't played the same since Penrith in Magic Round. Like, understandably, but they just have not looked like that. Going into Magic Round, that was like, holy shit, it's going to be the game. And it was so disappointing. And since then, they've been very up and down. And Roosters had chances to win it last week. So, yeah, as I said, I actually enjoy watching the Broncos. I enjoy watching them more than I watch Melbourne. So, I'm cheering them on. So,
I'll get you a jersey if we get the flag this year, mate.
You're not taking it from Penrith.
I think I do like my boys in this one. Obviously, one-eyed Broncos supporter, but I think the points is a couple of things. I think Katoni Staggs will convert whatever try we score. Like his kicking has been really good this year. Katoni's kicking. We still pretty much have our forward pack anyway. So even if they outplay us in the halves, I think the forward battle, I think it's a lot closer than it is on paper. Like the Storm forwards aren't as great as they used to be, and they're fucking going to be in a lot of trouble with all the boys leaving next week. They got next year. Sorry, the Bromwich boys, Felice gone. Like who do they have? They just have Nelson.
True, they've got Nelson and Kamakamika. Like they have. It's a good point. They're going to be very light, and Brandon Smith's going. He's been playing in the forwards. They're going to be very light next
Christian
year.
Welch, who's excellent, but he's not a game-changing forward. His
injuries aren't. He's been injured for a long time.
Yeah. So, but even those boys, I think if you take Bromwich and the Bromwich brothers and Kafusi out of Melbourne, I think their form will drop off real quick. I don't think Felice plays State of Origin next year if he's playing for the Dolphins.
He's a grub, by the way. Fucking how you get away with that?
What did you think of that? It's
deliberate. He's landed and he's done it so many times. It's like fuck, I accidentally throw an elbow. Like fucking Mitch Barnett does it. Oh, it's just Barnett. You're picking on him because of his prior record. Like fucking hell, how did you get away with it?
Like they got great lawyers,
but they're going to be losing 3 of their starting forwards this weekend next year.
And look, they'll probably sign some fucking retards who don't do well, who will become the next fringe State of Origin players anyway. But it's some key pieces missing for Melbourne. But look, they are playing this week, but I don't rate them too highly. The Broncos pack is up and coming. Payne will probably play injured with both fuck shoulders. Carrigan's an absolute beast. Flegler was my man of the match last week. Off the bench, 200 meters. He was fucking ripping everyone apart. Young Flegler. We stopped playing Reece Kennedy, which is really good. Corey Jensen, we spoke about him in the preseason, how he's got to get a run. He's starting now. He's a fucking legend. Ricky's not shooting out of the line all the time, thank goodness. But he is marking up on Munster this week, so we'll see how he goes. And our backline, it's pretty strong. I know we lost.
Yeah,
Brenko Lee was good last week. We still got Katoni. Selwood's a freak. Corey Oates, career best footy. Can't make the Origin team. I don't mind that. And Tamara Martin is the missing link. He's the only fullback we've had that can pass since Darius Boyd. So we're seeing it. Question is out on Tyron Roberts. I don't know where he's been for the last few years. Where'd he go? Super League, Q Cup.
Like, he was in Q Cup last year, I think, from memory.
Yeah.
But he is what we call an NRL journeyman.
He's a journeyman.
He's a journeyman. He is a journeyman. He was Knights, Titans, Broncos. Yeah.
We've also got Ezra Mam. Ezra Mam's playing excellent. The concern with Ezra Mam is the minute Reynolds got injured last week, Ezra Mam didn't touch the ball. He didn't touch it at all.
It's very odd. Usually you touch it more when you're halfback. Yeah.
No, Billy Walters everywhere. Oh, one pain point on the Broncos bench, which you'll see, because Corey Pakes is out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Jake Turpin, he's fucking playing. Hey. Oh, God. We told him to go have a look around, see what else you can find.
Yeah, last week, he went shopping.
Yeah, he hasn't found a club. But, look, can't wait for it. It is the main event of the round. Sure, we'll have 50,000, fill up Amy Park, whatever it is. All the Broncos supporters. We go everywhere. But into your slutty Saturday, we got Cronulla Sharks versus Gold Coast Titans. Sharks are $1.20. Titans at $4.50. The line is 13.5, and it should be bigger. Total points is 43.5 points. I see blood in the water already. I see a Sharks massacre here. I see the Titans getting absolutely demolished and Holbrook getting no pressure from the media. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, this is a bloodbath. There's too much class in this Sharks team, and there's one thing Sharks can do well is they can put points on. Defensively, I think they've been shown last couple of weeks they've got a bit of work to do to compete with the big teams, but this isn't a big team. This is the now new official or last place running team, the Titans. So they are dead last on for and against. Believe it or not, they got a worse for and against than the Bulldogs, and I think that's just going to get worse and worse. There's nothing you can look at it and go, oh yeah, I can see that's going to flip and turn. They actually haven't won an away game this year. They're 0-6 on the road versus the Sharks, who are actually pretty good at Shark Park. So it's like Coffs Harbour. Sorry,
Coffs Harbour, yeah.
Well, still taking Sharks. Fuck them. Yeah, I've got them covered. I think cover the line is the absolute jam of a play.
I think it's a pending slaughter, this one. I think the draw's been very kind to the Sharks, feeding them the Warriors and then the Titans. Like, this is how you play yourself back into form.
Yeah.
By scoring 80 points in a fortnight. Because the Sharks weren't playing that great, but the Warriors playing them into form. Titans going to help out the cause. Gold Coast don't like tackling. Toby Sexton hates putting in the right kick on the last tackle. Brimson doesn't know what he's doing anymore. I'm telling you, he's still the best fullback that they have. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah, fuck, their team sucks, eh? Like, they got Tino, and that's it. Like, Tino, if I could I'd keep Tino from that team. I'd keep Campbell. I'd keep Beau Fermor. And maybe Philip Sami. The rest can just go. Like,
Yeah. Fodawaker's not bad.
Yeah, he's underappreciated, I guess. Mo Fodawaker.
Yeah.
I find with him, his play the balls are so slow sometimes. Like he just fucking gets stuck in tackles and he's spinning. Like I don't know, it's weird. He always gets tangled up. Like he runs with such venom, but then it takes him so long to play the ball.
Yeah, true.
Huncho's got another comment. If ScoMo's at the Sharks game, throw your house on the Sharks 19 plus.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We haven't seen much of ScoMo since he got booted, eh?
Yeah, a bit disappointing. The number one Sharks ticket.
Yeah. Wonder what he's doing these days, but I digress. We both agree Sharks should tear through. It should be a high-scoring game. Your safe ones are Ronaldo score, Talakai, get on Katoa. Will Kennedy's due for a cheeky one. Each of the halves, they're probably a chance as well. For a team that scores so many points, a lot of their forwards don't score that much. Maybe Teague Wilton, but he's not starting anymore because Wade Graham's back. So
yeah, they don't. No, they usually don't go through the middle. They usually hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, well, Talakai's in the centres now, but they would have used him before. Nakoro they used to play that short ball too.
Yeah, I think he's only scored like 3 tries this year though, or something. I was looking
at
it
first, yeah,
because I had him on one of my multis. I was like, this can't score anytime. Didn't happen. They hit all the backs. All the backs got close. All they scored. But yeah, they're very winger heavy on the tries. But that's because the way their team's set up. They've got these centers who aren't designed to score points. They're there to destroy the opposition and release the wingers. So Ramian doesn't pass that much, but he doesn't score that much either. So
no, that's true.
He just bashes blokes. It's good seeing people like Ramian in there. It just reminds me of Will Chambers. You know,
Grub.
Just an angry brother out there on the field. Just cause it a mess. But no, Sharks. This will play the Sharks into form. I think you can get some juicy multis off this game, picking a lot of try scorers. So hopefully that's a great start to a slutty Saturday. I don't know. Is this next game a bit of a bludger? Because it's the Panthers versus the Warriors. Panthers are paying $1.05. The Warriors are at $10. The line is 24.5. Total points is 42.5. I look at it, I'm like, fucking hell, that 24.5 doesn't seem big enough.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I could see Penrith winning this one like 36-4 or something.
But I could see them winning like 20-0.
Yeah, I could see that too.
Like I could see them just not getting out second gear, but not conceding.
Yeah. Second gear going uphill, like just fucking.
And I feel like they did do that in the second half against the Knights last week.
They did.
Because at half time it was 26-0 and they had everything going and Knights were just dying. And they died in the second half, the Knights. And I think we should have put 30 on the second half. But
yeah. That was a pretty shit game to watch now I think about it. It was just so
boring.
The Knights was. Take all their hit ups, make 35 meters. They'd bomb it. Edwards would hammer it down somebody's throat. Like, it was just, yeah, I don't know. That's probably a victim of Penrith being too good. Like,
yeah, I think so. Because if you,
like, fuck, they're good.
Yeah, exactly. You watched that, and I think the Knights fans, because they had 21,000 there, and they apparently stayed for most of the game, but it was probably because they're like, fuck, they're good to all. Yeah. But yeah, I think the handicaps. My only worry is because they didn't take many players off last week to rest. They've rested players because of Origin. So Cleary's that might come off a bit early. That's my only worry. I'm not confident in taking that 24.5. The one point, the line that I do like is the Warriors unders. So the line's at 7.5. But you can do Warriors alternative points and get under 8.5. It's $1.77. Or if you're really super confident,
6.5.
Go under. I'm backing to miss the kick. Well, 6.5 is $1.96. Go $3.32 for under 5.5.
To miss the kick if they score. Because if they score, it's probably Dallin.
Yeah, they're not scoring through the middle. They're going wide. That's what I think. But I like the unders. Or you could just take them to get held to nil, $5.20.
Okay, look, could be a good hit. Yeah, the Warriors fucking suck, eh? They're so shit. And Penrith is so good. Here's one for you. Here's someone who's probably due to have a bad game. And then this is where Rocco Berry probably scores the first try in this game. Tungo in the setters.
It's Tago. Who keeps saying that? Someone said that on the weekend. He's done well. I tell you where I have made money on him this year. First try. This year, he's gone at
least 20 every time. Hey,
14. If you do that every week, really just
first try scorer. We've already guaranteed profit for the year, and there was a game against the Dogs on Sunday night at Bankwest.
He got it was like cannabis try score. Game. I just can't see
Since correcting is the pronunciation of his game, of his name. He's due
True.
for
I don't think he scored. I don't think he scored first. I don't know. The Panthers are just on another level. They're the only team I could say. Yeah, they're the only team I reckon that's just been good non-stop. Like they haven't had a dip. They haven't slowed down. The Cowboys came to Penrith and couldn't score a point. Like they just levels above everyone else at the moment. So
yeah, no, they are.
I would just take the Warriors unders, to be honest, under 7.5. Because
well, I got Penrith overs. I've got Penrith.
What's their points total?
I think I got him 33.5.
Okay.
Because it's different to the Knights. With the Knights, see, I was watching that Knights game last week, and I was looking at them like the Knights aren't playing bad. They're just not playing good enough to score.
Yeah, no, they actually. I felt playing that bad. Penrith completed. It was like 21 from 21. Just through every play they had at them, and they're like, we can't. Like they anticipated that they were going to rush Cleary, so they played so deep to the point where Kickout gets the ball now because Kickout's game has changed. 12 months ago plus.
Yeah.
He was a running game. He had no pass. He couldn't do anything. Like he threw past to play his feet or stupid offloads. Grand final day against Melbourne, he threw a tried to throw an off. Like Melbourne scored right on halftime. Cam Smith tried. This year, passing game, he can play the quick pass. He's all of a sudden got a kicking game. He scored a try assist off a kick on the weekend. So teams don't rush him anymore. Flicks one back. And Tago and Mayer, see you later. So now they back off. And then what they did on the weekend is they played deep. They gave him the ball with 25 meters out. And he killed Ponga and made basically 4 of them look stupid. So
the correct pronunciation is May.
My fucking
Tango and May, not May. May. I'm just cursing cursing the Penrith Panthers team. But no, the Knights were playing okay. Like they never gave up. They kept having a crack. They're just not good enough. Whereas the Warriors, they just gave up against the Sharks. It's fucking weird. Piece of shit team. They just gave up. And that's why I can see Penrith putting on some points here. The Knights one, they switched off somewhat competitive at the end. There was just a skill gap. Whereas this, you're going to see a skill gap, a will gap. It's just going to be fucking awful. Where's this game being played? Is it Redcliffe or Bluebet?
Morton. Yeah, Redcliffe.
Redcliffe. So it's going to be a dry track.
I don't have a game for 2 weeks.
Yeah. So that makes it a bit scary because the Warriors do play better there for patches in the first half, but they'll switch off quickly. But it's a very dry track there, and I can see Penrith running some points on them. So all I'm going to say, over 33.5. Take it. Your last game on Saturday, 7:35, is Paramedic Eels versus Sydney Roosters. This appears to be one of the closest games on the card. The line is 1.5. Paramedic Eels are favourites. Total points are at 41.5 points. Kiri's been named to play, but extremely unlikely given his history of being hit in the head. He copped a fucking big knee from Joey Manu in the back of the head last week, so I don't know if it's worth risking him. I know they're fighting for a spot in the top 8 at the moment, but I don't know if this is the time to be doing it. What do you think happens here? Is that right? You've lagged out on me. So I'll tell you what's going to happen here. I'm picking the Eels to score more than 21.5 points. That pays over $2. Reason being, the Eels were fucking lifeless last week. Absolutely shocking. They fell asleep behind the wheel. They were behind the Dogs all night, just in effort, enthusiasm. Everything was off. Their passing game was shithouse. The defense was shithouse. Just everything was off. And they've bounced back really well this year. In all of their losses, they've bounced back to get a really good win the week prior. When they beat Penrith, they lost a week prior. When they beat Melbourne, they lost the week prior. When they lost to the Tigers, they whooped Newcastle 39 points to 2. So I'm expecting them to bounce back. They're yet to lose a game in 2 consecutive games. My apologies. And I'm expecting them to really bounce back. If the Roosters are going to be missing Kiri, I think it's going to be a very difficult task for them. We've got a question from Huncho back on the Warriors. They're signing everybody else's sloppy seconds and any rejects from the All Blacks. Look, I agree, but they've got to sign somebody. Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Warriors next year, but it's also going to be tough for the Roosters on Saturday night. So I'm thinking Parramatta score points, not only because I think they win this game, but also just total points in general this year. The last 3 to 4 weeks, they've been extremely high. You've seen the total points lines really move up. They were 5 to 6 points lower a couple of weeks ago, but a lot of teams are starting to go over. Teams not giving a shit, or teams are starting to click. I think the Eels really bounce back, and they bounce back well. I think it's going to be an entertaining game. It'll be close, but I think the Eels will just have too much. They got better halves. Their forwards are capable of doing better. A lot of the guys that played Origin didn't play well last week, so expecting them to bounce back and play well for that one. Into your seedy Sunday, we've got the Canberra Raiders versus the Newcastle Knights. The Canberra Raiders are at $1.31. Newcastle at $3.50. The line is 10.5 points. Total match points are only at 40.5 points. So that's one of the lowest ones you're going to see all round. This game is being played in Canberra, where Canberra normally play well. So no surprise to see Canberra the favourites on this one. 10.5 points. Bit of quite a large line, but I think there may be an overreaction to the Penrith game for Newcastle, because like I said earlier, they didn't play too bad. They just got absolutely monstered. Newcastle have a very strong lineup. It all depends on Kalen Ponga, on whether he does fit. But the one thing with Kalen Ponga is if he is ruled out, Tex Hoy will most likely slot into fullback, and Tex Hoy at fullback, he's been very strong for the Newcastle Knights. As we welcome the Mad Dog back into the studio, his internet is on loan from one of his neighbours.
Thanks for having me.
So I was just discussing
their data allowance.
Discussing the Raiders and Knights. The line on this one, 10.5. It's quite large. I believe it's quite large. I think there's a bit of an overreaction from Newcastle. People are saying it was a shit show against Penrith, but it wasn't that shit. Like I said earlier, they just outclassed. But Canberra also, playing in Canberra, they do play a lot better. And before they shit the bed against the Broncos, I think this would be a fair line. But Canberra was shit last week. I think Newcastle can still improve. I think the 10.5 is too big for me to take the Raiders. But at the very least, that's why I'm taking the Knights to go over in their total points. I think they can score 3 tries against the Raiders. Raiders haven't been lighting it up defensively. And I think Newcastle are getting a little bit better. Milford, surprisingly, he's playing okay. The other thing is Ponga. There's a chance that he doesn't play after the concussion last week. But I was saying that they actually play a lot better with Tex Hoy at fullback. It's as if everybody else lifts and gets a lot better. But just my 5 cents on that one. What are your thoughts on this game? Canberra v the Knights.
Yeah, on the opposite. I think Canberra.
Cover.
Yeah, but
I
you've
thought they were,
always
like,
been
I
a
know they-
Canberra lover, though.
I've been a Canberra.
Hey,
Most protected coach in the game and stand by that because Powers, they're not in the alley.
and
They're such a good team.
But
I think the
Broncos
game,
if they
Powers there, it could have been a different result.
they were up at halftime against them.
Not enough points.
Points in. I agree with when he's not there. There's
Sorry, you lagged out on me. You got to go repeat that for me.
the Kalen Ponga point. When Kalen Ponga is out there, it's true they're a better team. But I think they'll cover the line. They get home. Roosters.
Yeah.
The Roosters 4.5 points.
I think so. So
I think they'll do it.
I think also for the bad result, if they get flogged the Knights, I think it run.
You're lagging out for me there, bruv.
No.
Okay. Well, I said if Knights get flogged, can you hear me?
Let's get
you're back on.
Right, be gone. Press conference, he shat on the club. Last decade, and problems in that club. So he's gone out, shot it, and that board hasn't changed. So you've gone out and called him out. It's not a good look. So
yeah, he could be punted. That's 4 coaches in one season, and Ricky still safe.
Ricky.
Not even a mention of.
Nah, he's rated for life. He ain't going nowhere. What else have we got? Final game of the round. Usually reserved for a shit show, but I think this will be a good game. Cannery Bulldogs versus West Tigers. It's a pick'em. Dogs are $1.80. Tigers are $2. Lions 1.5. Total points we're looking at 40.5. I think we see this one differently. So tell us why you're riding Brett Kamali's dick.
Well, I'm going to tip the Tigers, but I haven't bet that. I bet over.
Okay.
I just even I know
40.5.
Yeah, I know they kept Parra to 4 points, but there was an intercept try that was against like any other player doesn't phone. Campbell Gillard bombs, throws an intercept, and Moses literally scored but bombed it. And they just did dumb shit Parra, and I think any team could have beaten Parra the other day. So I think the over 40s, and I just think a lot of it, I just think get on Addo Carr anytime because I could see Burton doing the exact same grubbers, exact same chips over the top, early kicks, and nobody's defending it at the moment. And I can't see the Tigers turning around this week and doing a great video session with a new coach and going, right, we're going to stop Addo Carr. I think it's going to be better football, not how we're going to stop the Dogs, because I think that was the big takeaway from the Dogs. The Dogs won a game. They won 2 before that, but it was just the way they played football. And I think coaches, particularly your Kamali's, your Mick Potters, their auditions results is some part of it, but I think the style of football for those two clubs has always been, especially the Dogs. The Dogs are such a negative team. If they can start moving the ball and scoring points, all of a sudden the fans will get excited by that. So I like the overs. I think it's very low. It's 2 points lower than the Manly Cowboys.
I know.
Which makes no sense to me when neither team defensively has been incredible this season.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the overs are a good shout for this one.
Adam Dewey may be back as well. Adam.
He's big difference that Tigers team.
He is, especially in attack. That's why I'm taking the Dogs to go over 21.5. I've moved that line to get more juice because I think there's going to be a lot of points. I like what the Bulldogs are doing. Tavita, fucking excellent. Averillo, he's a great fullback. He shouldn't play anywhere else. Burton, he's finding Addo Carr. And I agree. I think Noddy's walking around training all week, right? They're not talking about Addo Carr and how to stop him. he's walking around saying, "What's your name again?" He doesn't even know their names yet. Like he's just trying to get to know them. He's not fucking game planning.
Where's that guy Luciano going? Where's he walking? Oh, he's gone. See you, mate.
Where's Luciano? So yeah, I agree. There's going to be some points in this one, and I like the Dogs overs. I just think they got more to offer in attack. I think the Tigers' attacks, it's not as entertaining anymore. I don't know if Jackson Hastings is playing any different. It just seems very bland to me. I don't know. What have you noticed since the last couple of weeks for Hastings? Because the aura around the Tigers is gone.
I only think Madge is very well respected by the team in the dressing room, and the team loved him, but the team hated him. But
thank you post to manage. Luciano that little walks out a week later.
Did Madge? I think Madge's man management is much better than people think, and I think there's a big hate towards the board, and it might have demotivated or dispirited some of those players. But it's just I can't put my finger on it, but I think Adam Dewey is just a big in for those guys. I'd love to see Dewey in the halves with Hastings.
Where's he going to line up in the centres, do you think?
I'm assuming I'll put him in at centre.
Yeah.
Or they could move Brooks to hooker and play him. I would love to see Brooks, Hastings at 7 and Dewey at 6, because I think that team, and then you got Dane Laurie at fullback, automatically looks like a much stronger team than Jacob Little at hooker. But I don't know. Tell you, and you know who's probably for value for any times? I don't know. I haven't checked him now. Luke Garner.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
And he's coming to Penrith next year. He's our new kick out. He's scoring tries. He scored 4 tries this year, and I reckon they're in his last 3 games. Yeah, he scored 4 tries. All of them have been scored since round 9. So he scored 4 tries in his last 5 games. Value.
First try scorers too.
Yeah, he is value for an anytime try scorer.
Well, he's the 3rd highest try scorer behind both the wingers.
Yeah.
No one else you'd really look at. You got Mamala with 10, Nofaluma with 5, and Garner with 4.
He's paying $4.30.
And there's going to be points.
And his strike rate is 4 in his last 5. So that, for your mathematicians, has an 80% strike rate in his last 5 games. And over the season, it's a 33% strike rate. He's paying $4.30 against the Dogs.
Sounds like you're going to put a lot of money on it.
I'm fucking selling this place and putting it on it. I'm going to have no internet again. I'll be using their internet, but I'll be outside next week.
I'll tell you his value for the Dogs, and it's Addo Carter score too. But
how much is that paying?
It's probably shorter than Garner to score a try.
Yeah.
But Addo Carter's got 11 tries, right? The person closest to him is Averillo with 4.
Jesus.
I like Averillo.
But it's that play. You know Burton is going to put a grub or a kick. He's going to have a crack. That's literally there.
4 tries this year. They've all come in the last 3 games.
Mate, it's the Garner form.
Doesn't count. Basically, his last 2 games where he was allowed to score a try, 2 on the Dragons, 2 on Para.
$4.30 Addo Carter score a double. There's an omen.
And how much is Averillo for one? $250?
Averillo for one is $255.
Oh, yeah.
So you get $4.30 Luke Garner single.
Yeah.
This is literally, I'm doing up a winning multi as we speak. This is how good this is. Go Addo Carter double at $4.30 into you want Averillo anytime. And then you want the big fella Luke Garner anytime, $40.50.
Whoa.
Power play to 48. You're picking 3 the form try scorers. Because outside Addo Carter, I'll tell you, Carraz is very quick as well. But there's no tries like outside of really Averillo, Burton, Carraz, and Addo Carter. Like those 4, that's it. Like, Pangai doesn't score him like he was at Penrith.
No.
Like, none of those forwards. Like, have any of them scored this year? Those forwards?
Pangai scored like round 1 or 2 or something. Like, it was really early.
Yeah, but like Corey Waddell, Ram Fatal Mariner, Joe Stimson. No, he's not scoring.
No. Josh Jackson's not scoring. Paul Vaughan not scoring.
No.
Luke Thompson's not scoring. Max King's not scoring.
Cole Flanagan, $7. I remember the Roosters, he was scoring.
Yeah, but he was scoring those Cooper Cronk tries where he
just... back on the inside support, yeah.
He scored 1 try, and it was against the Dragons 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it's pretty predictable where the Bulldogs are going to get points. But if I'm saying the Bulldogs are going to score at least 4 tries, Addo-Carr and Avarillo got to get over. They got to.
I just put the bonus bet on that.
Take that.
That's jam.
We've got another question in the comments before we wrap up today. Queensland State of Origin. Who would you start at lock for Queensland, Cotter or Carrigan? Both had man of the match performances in game 1. Both have similar play styles. They're tough, gritty, and strong.
I'd leave it as it was in game 1. Carrigan's off the bench, right?
Yeah.
I'd leave it as is. I wouldn't change. I honestly think that was the best Queensland could play, and that's their limit. And if you play like that, you're obviously winning New South Wales, and you're fucking going to be good at Suncorp. So why would you change it? Perth, you probably even Jag to win. So I'd leave it. I'd even
Carrigan out there for that ridiculous first 20 minutes. I'd leave Papali'i in there. He only played that 20 minutes, pretty much.
Yeah,
like let him fucking gas himself out, put some hits on, and then let Carrigan get through all the grunt work throughout the rest of the game.
And where they really burnt New South Wales was the point we talked about, was the 2 hookers, Ben Hunt and Harry Grant at the bench. Harry Grant can't play 80 minutes, and look at the difference he made when he came on. But if he started, he wouldn't have had that much of an impact. So
that's right.
I think stick to the same.
Yeah.
I think South will do.
I think Appy will get in there and they'll play
him off the bench because they just need, like, Cook. Mate, he was a quarterback in the end. He was just lost. He was running back in the pocket and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, he was fucked. Possible obstructions all over the place. Do you reckon Appy gets a run?
I don't think they will, but I think they should pick him at 14. I'd have him starting hooker. Like, if you see the way Cleary and Luai, like, the one thing in New South Wales, every time they got a quick play of the ball, apart from the last 10, 15 minutes, Cook would run and then look for the halves. Whereas Appy will give that early ball to Cleary, because all night Cleary was getting pressure on him, because every slow play of the ball was the last tackle he got pressure on. Every time he got a quick play of the ball, Cook just took off.
Run. Yeah, him and
giving it to Cleary on the run, which showed they played Newcastle, what Penrith could do. So they've got it. Yeah, I think they just tried playing faster football and through the middle, which obviously didn't work, and Fittler said need to hold them down more, but they had chances to. Just every time it was a quick play of the ball, Damien Cook ran dummy half and turned around at the line, goes, who do I give it to? Instead of like, fucking just run, you cat.
Yeah. He didn't want to get tackled.
It wasn't until the end, that try that New South Wales scored, where they got a quick play of the ball out to Luai and he played the short ball to Murray.
Murray, yeah.
So
that's true. Luai was good for the last 15 minutes of that game.
He was.
But
that was on the back of literally New South Wales playing with a bit of tempo and rolling forward instead of just trying to go one out. Wingers bringing like Tupou and Tedesco and Toto doing every single hit up and then bomb it downfield. Yeah. So I think you'll see New South Wales spread the ball and will move the ball around. And Cook won't every time there's a quick play of the ball. He'll pick and choose.
Yeah.
But I think Queensland just do the same thing. Munster is a fucking freak every time it's a big game. He's incredible.
He's so good, honestly.
I've watched him live so many times, and I think he's incredible. Like I actually, he's just how he stood on halfway circling and then made a clean line break and busted tackles like that. It was a standing start. Like, and he's not like, he's a big body, but he's just so hard to tackle.
Yeah, he's got great balance. It's fucking
he can like twist and turn, and even one point he was tackling Cleary, he had Cleary's hand. Yeah, he's off the beers.
That's his secret, mate. He's not touching the 4X anymore.
Shame.
But I can't wait. I think for the next the next Origin game, we just get a couple of degenerates in here and just talk Origin footy. And then we drop another podcast on the Thursday, Friday to talk about the round.
Well, in the next
it's on a
Origin
Sunday, isn't it?
standalone,
It's
yeah. It's rep
Okay.
round. We'll get Tonga and... Who's that? Tonga playing Samoa?
You're going to love that. You're going to love
I
it.
will. I don't mind that game. I don't
PG
mind
and
it.
PNG as well.
And the Women's State of Origin's on the Friday, I believe. So
yeah. Do they also have the under-19s State of Origin as well?
I think so.
I heard that was coming too.
I know before the last game they had the police State of Origin. New South Wales cops belting the Queensland cops.
One last question for you, Huncho, before we wrap this up. I finished my beer already. So we spoke a bit about this earlier. Do Queensland go with Oates or do they go with a Hammer or Tuolangi?
I would go Tuolangi. Yeah, I'd go Tuolangi. I don't understand. I think that was New South Wales' mistake. They played defensively. Pick a guy pick the player you don't want to mark up against. And I think Queensland would have rather mark up against Tupou than Addo-Carr, is the way I see it. And the other way around, you'd rather not play against Cobbo and play against Corey Oates or something because you know what you're going to get. Whereas Cobbo is just a freak and a live wire, and that's how you should pick your teams. Pick the team that the opposition don't want to play against. The New South Wales were like, oh no, we'll pick fucking Tupou because we're going to bomb all day. They bombed the Toto instead, and he fucking caught everything. That strat did not work once.
That's true, and I think Queensland need to change that.
And even Addo-Carr yesterday took a fucking great catch as well. He can jump the kid.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think with Corey Oates, as much as I love the bloke, he's as predictable as it gets, but he does his job and he does it really well. But if you pick him, you're playing kind of not to lose. You're not trying to win kind of thing. It's odd.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think you need to fight fire with fire. New South Wales have always had such a better offensive team for the last 4 years. Queensland finally has a team that can score points. Now we've shown that we can bash them up the middle. We don't
New
need
South
a
Wales
real big winger right now.
No. New South Wales last year picked Latrell and Turbo in the centres. They picked Turbo in the centres because Queensland would rather not play Tom Trbojevic at all, yet alone in centre. This year, Whiten and Stat and put Crichton on the bench. I'm sure they would rather not play Crichton. I know Whiten had an incredible game, but I think Crichton is more of the worry because he's won grand finals and he's a freak, but they put him on the bench and bring him on with 15, 20 minutes to go and he spear tackles someone. So,
do you reckon if Staggs is healthy, Crichton plays?
Yeah, I think Staggs is in the same mold as James Roberts. I just think he needs someone has to get him the ball. I know they kept saying he needs to go looking, but James Roberts never went looking. Yeah, they literally just get someone, talk to him in his ear, just give him run. Same player. James Roberts never went looking
on the outside.
Yeah.
He beats him on the outside. He doesn't do anything else. Doesn't come back inside and support. He doesn't do that. He beats him on the outside one-on-one. And
exactly.
He did get early ball twice. He made those half breaks.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid. But
they just need to, if New South Wales adjusted and just dropped a little deeper, it could have changed that game. Every time they spread it, they were just rushed on, drop back holes everywhere. But
I think
I don't know.
On that right side, the combo with Staggs and Toto, I don't think they're a great combo together. They're too similar.
Yeah, they're just power runners. Yeah,
you need a Crichton inside of Toto, or you need someone like Cobbo outside of Staggs. There's a reason why it works. Is because they complement each other and they're different. Whereas Staggs and Toto just feels like they take up too much room for some reason. I don't know. They run the same corridors and
it'd be interesting though.
I don't know anything about footy anyway. I just talk about it.
So we just talk about it once a week on a podcast. We actually fucking know nothing about it. Trust us.
Nothing at all. $1,700 profit last week on the NRL. Jump into the Discord if you want to see these multis. I got a Discord exclusive $320 banger, which is going to be posted tonight. I do have 5 best bets, though, which I want to share in the podcast so I can gloat about my victories next week. I got the Sharks over 29.5, Penrith over 33.5, the Eels over 21.5, the Knights over 14.5, and the Bulldogs to score over 21.5 points. I've got $50 on this multi, paying $34. Can I get a round of applause? Just remembered we had all these fucking stupid things I could push buttons on, and I thought,
They're so
just
shit.
laugh at myself a little bit there. They're so shit. So give us your best bets. Give it to us. Ready and go for it.
Under 42.5
points in the Manly Cowboys game. Para -1.5. Raiders -10.5, and over 40.5 in the Dogs Tigers game. Paying 13-1.
Sorry, I went a bit early. What was the last leg?
Over 4 in the Dogs Tigers game, which I think is absolute value.
Mate, these can't draw us, I tell ya. Woo! Hit me hard. Not. That's about it for this week. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week. Support the Marquee
See you guys.
Foundation. Bye.